guys, welcome to my channel. I'm on the bank today. It's September. I thought I'd just make a quick video about how to get into carp fishing, what you'll need to buy, sort of things you'll need if you want to do a sort of bite alarm setup. So this video just runs through the equipment with a bit of an explanation, so please enjoy. Okay, so when you're fishing for carp with bite alarms, you'll probably be using boilies. I'll first of all just go through some of the different weights that you can use. So you can use inline weights, where the line runs through the weight, so that if the fish picks up the weight, say for example the water that you're fishing has carp that get spooked easily, so one where there's not many people, they don't get fished much, or they're overfished, then you might want to use something with no resistance or low resistance, such as a running rig, so that the bait gets picked up and the line can run through the middle of this. There's different sorts of inline leads, like this one. So it's got the tube in there that the line goes through, and that is designed to stick on the bottom and not roll around because of its shape. You've got like a little camo one here. You can either use that as inline, well, as a running rig, or you can have it as a fixed rig, like a bolt rig. And a bolt rig is where the fish picks up the bait and then it hits the weight, and the weight is what sets the hook. So if you've got the running rig, the fish will run, feel no resistance, then your bite alarm will tell you, and that's your time to strike, just lift into the fish. And you can also use these, it's called a line clip. So if you're worried about when you've cast out, if your line is, if you can imagine it's under the water going down at an angle, if you're worried about a fish maybe hitting the line and getting spooked, you can use one of these clips. So after you've cast and you've set your rod up, where the tip of the rod is, you can just, there's a little hook on here, you can see the little hook, and you just hook this over your line. It will just slide down and pull all the line down tight to the bottom. So when you're reeling, this will just sort of flap about, and then when you're reeling you can just remove it. So they're useful if you're worried about a fish banging into your line. So you can also get these for the rigs, the end tackle. You can get these boxes where you can set up all your hair rigs, and you can have them all arranged so that when you get on the bank you can just pick one. So these hair rigs that you use, you can buy them pre-made, like this one, and they're made out of various lines, like different pounds, breaking strains. You can get them with braid, which can be better for avoiding tangles and things like that, or if there's a lot of snags in the water, braid tends to break less. So that's depending on the water that you're fishing. So I'm going to show you how to set up one of these hair rigs quickly. So as I say, you've got various different sizes of boilie. You can have different rigs, like that's what you call kind of a snowman rig, where you've got a big one and a small one, and it will sit, and that is called a pop-up. And then what that will do is, when it's under the water, that pop-up will just add buoyancy, and it will sit like this. So when the fish comes along, it's more noticeable on the bottom. If the bottom is full of leaves, say in the autumn, and you want your bait sitting slightly proud of the bottom, this gives it a kind of upright buoyancy. You can use pop-ups, so they just pop straight up and go to different depths, but that's for another video. But just for now, I'll just show you how to set up one of these rigs. So you've got your pre-made hair rig, and a hair rig is simply like a hook to nylon, or a hook tied on, but it's got this extra bit of line and a little hoop here, and at the other end you've got a swivel which you connect to your main line, and there's a bit of just a bit of rubber tubing there just to covering it to make it less prone to tangles. So what you'll need, you need a baiting needle and a little bait drill. So let's just practice on this big boilie, it's easy to see. just drill a little hole through the boilie. There you go. And then push your needle through. So this little pin here, pull that back, push the needle through, and then you just get your little loop on the end of here, put that in the hook, and then before you pull back, pull that little tab up so that it closes, and then pull the whole thing through like so. Take your needle out, and you've got your little hoop there, and then you'll need a bait stop. Let me just look for a bait stop. So I'll just use a little colourful one so you can see. Okay, get your little bait stop, put it through the loop. So you've got the bait stop there, just pull the bait back down, tight onto there. You can bury this in if you're worried about this spooking the fish. I don't think it does, in my opinion. Then you've got it set up like so. So one good thing about this is you can use the bait again and again. If it's a nice hard boilie like this one, you know, that you catch a fish, put it straight back out. I find that when the bait looks a little bit washed out and like it's been in the water a while, the fish tend to accept it more as a natural bait because they think it's been left overnight or it's just been floating in the water, or it's more natural than a bait that looks fresh. So the more kind of washed out it is, the better. And then the idea is that the fish will just suck up this and it will get caught on the hook, and then you've got it. So that's pretty much how to do that. So I'll go through some of the other tackle that you will probably need. So you'll need, well, what I use is a rod pod like this one, and this is built for 2 rods. You can also have them for 3 rods depending on what you want. So for 2 rods, get yourself a good sturdy rod pod like this one. I think this is an NGT profiler, and you want to attach your bite alarms to the end. And then you also want a bobbin, which is this, and that just allows the line to keep a tension in the line between the bite alarm and the bait, so that when you do get a bite it registers properly. So without this you might not get a proper register of a bite. So as I get a bite, the bobbin will lift up like that. And then towards the back end you will need a couple of butt rests like this, just to keep the rod secure. When you're carp fishing you want something that keeps the rod sturdy so that it doesn't fly into the water, because some takes can be really like ferocious. So I've got like a rubbery butt rest that sticks in it, it holds it firm. As I say, you want a nice sturdy, good quality rod pod. Don't buy a cheap one because they'll just fall over or they'll keep moving around. It's also useful to get a bag for your rod pod, because you can also keep, like I do, I use this bag for the rod pod and for the bobbins. So I've got my bobbins in here, and then I've got my case for my bite alarms, so that you don't forget anything. You can keep it all together in a nice handy case, so look out for that if you're buying one. And then you want to keep your rods in a good quality rod bag, such as this one. I think this is made by Fox. It's padded, and you can keep them, you can either have them semi kind of made up in here. This is for 2-piece rods. It's quite small. My rods are quite small, so they fit in here really easily. This area is for where you have the reel, so that's padded as well, good quality. And then you want a large keep net like I've got here. and I'd recommend to get the longest handle that you can. This is a carp keep net, and it's got a 3-meter handle, just so that if you've got a big fish on that you don't want to lose, you can actually reach it quite easily with a long handle. I'll just go into a bit more detail about the tackle. So I've got a tackle box with compartments that you can adjust depending on the size of the compartment you want. I have got this is a knot strength tester, so you make your knot and then you pull on it to see that it is strong and doesn't break. Always check your knots before you cast out, because you could lose that dream fish. I've got a pellet bander, which allows you to put a band over a pellet so that you can fish with pellets. I've got a longer baiting needle here for bigger baits. I've got some hook length line. I've got PVA tape. This is great if you're making up a bag of bait that you want to cast out. You can just tape up the top of it, or you can make some holes in some boilies and then string it through, and then as it goes into the water, so you can get the boilies out at distance, and then the PVA tape will dissolve into the water. That's useful. Not everything here is essential, but it's definitely useful. I've got some hooks in a container under here, and I've got some floats. So that's like a pellet waggler float, a couple of pellet waggler floats and other small floats. I've got a disgorger there. I've got a couple of disgorgers. I've got some more rigs under there. That's for my hair rigs as well. I've got a larger disgorger. You don't tend to need them with carp fishing because the hooks are big. You can just get the hook out with your hand. I've got various hooks there, a small pair of scissors, and then I've got in here all the attachments for your lead weights, and then the end stops, the stops that go on the end of the boilie to stop it falling off. And there's some swivels in there as well. So for the rod and reel, so you've got the end tackle here, then you've got the line going through. So I've got a small 8-foot rod. You can have all different lengths of rods and different curves of weight at the end. This one's very soft. I think this is about £2 test curve. You can go up to £3 or more depending on how far you want to cast. On a small sort of commercial lake, you don't need a very big rod to cast. And in the summer, if you're fishing in the summer, most of the fish are close in anyway. So going down, I've got a small bait runner reel. So if you're using bite alarms, you always want to have a bait runner, and what that does is it allows you to disengage to a soft clutch, which allows the line to run like this. So then when you go to strike the fish, you disengage it and it goes onto the front clutch like that. So you set 2 clutches, front clutch and back clutch. Small bait runner reel. So that's what you'll need for carp fishing, and a rod that's got where the reel goes in, where it sits, it can screw into place so it's nice and secure. So bait wise, today I'm using boilies, and you can just put these on the hair rig. Different flavours. I've got some banana ones, some strawberry ones. You can get different sizes as well. Got some more in here, varying sizes here, some bigger ones. So you can actually target the size of carp you want. If you want a really big carp, go for a bigger bait. And then to attach it onto the rig, you want a baiting needle like this one, and a bait drill like this. So you drill a little hole in the boiler, and then you put your hair rig through, and then you just grab the loop with this little hook, and then push that up, and then pull that back through the boiler to attach your bait. You can use various different methods. but these are just sort of the basics of carp fishing with bite alarms and boilies. So you want a baiting, as I say, a baiting needle and a baiting drill, and then you can either make your own hair rigs or buy them pre-made. And then you want a selection of weights. I've got all sorts of weights here. There's like an inline lead which lies flat on the bottom for big waters. I've got smaller ones, camouflagey ones, etc. Floats. I've got some feeders. It goes on forever. There's many different things you can use. It's good to get yourself like a little box like this one that you can put all your rigs in. All my hair rigs are set up in there. I've got them on pins. I'll just show you that. See, I've pre-made all these, and I've just got them there, ready for when I need them. Different lengths, different hook, different lengths of line, different line capacities. So you also want to get yourself a good quality chair. This is a Daiwa Mission, because you're going to be sitting in it quite a bit waiting for a bite. So a good adjustable chair like this one, and get yourself a carry-all as well. So I've got this green one. I think this is NGT. Side pockets, it's got a front pocket, and if you've got bait in here, it's good because it sort of protects it from getting too warm. It's a bit like a cooler bag. So I've got like a spare coat, an extra bait in there. So as well as the rod bag, the landing net, of course, forgot to mention you'll also need an unhooking mat, so that if you catch a large carp you can put it on the mat, and if it's thrashing about it won't get damaged by any rocks on the ground. I forgot to bring mine today, but you want to try to make sure you always take your unhooking mat with you as well. So that's pretty much the basics of what you'll need if you want a bite alarm set up when you're carp fishing. Thank you for watching. Please comment below. I'm just going to continue fishing now. It's a beautiful day. The rods are out. That's the beauty as well of this kind of fishing. You can sit back and relax. You're not holding a rod. You're not watching a float, which some people would say is part of fishing, which I agree with, but sometimes you kind of just want to sit back and relax. And if you're with a friend, you just want to have a chat. I don't always want to get that hand on with fishing, or sometimes it can be really difficult, like in the winter, so you can just set it up and wait. Another benefit is if you're night fishing, you can just let the rods do their job, and you can have a little nap and the bite alarms will wake you up. So as I say, thanks for watching as always, and please do subscribe. So that's it for my explanation. Hope you found that useful. I did catch a few fish, you'll see that in a moment. I'll just add that to the end of the video. I'm still fishing, still getting bites. So as always, thank you for watching, and please subscribe.
What time does this place close?
About 8, I think.